still the Ghana month, and I'm sure you enjoyed that music very much. Now, in their bio, you'll realize that they have some British whatever origin in their bio, which we've been contesting over the years. But Osibisa is a Ghanaian group. We love them. We love them to be Ghanaians, and so I'm not sure that we would ever want to make them British. Nah. All right, so yeah, that's what it is. And I'm sure you love other songs from them as well. But let me find out from Lawyer Mettle and Kumah if indeed they've been Osibisa fans. No, I'll start from you. Mettle.
Well, I'm the wrong person to start from.
Like exactly what I want to start from you.
I didn't come to me the days of Osibisa. So I think I'm the wrong person.
But you've loved their music. I mean, the one
but then I've listened to a couple of the songs, but then those kind of songs wouldn't be my first choice of songs.
Are you serious?
A song to listen to, yeah.
Well, what's the kind of song you love to listen to?
I came to meet the likes of VIP, Bookbag, Bandana, Batman, and Co. So I think I'm used to those kind of songs, and Westlife and the likes. And even today, the current ones that are coming, I'm not really a fan of them. I still stay to
the 2000s.
Yeah, I still stay to songs in the 90s and 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a Shatta Wale fan?
Yeah, strong Shatta fan.
Now we'll have a problem. I want to find out from yourself.
Well, basically, like you were saying, most of us, Osibisa, we didn't meet them in their prime. Yeah, but we've heard them, a couple of their music. So I think some of them are inspirational, others are cool. But our time, Stoneboys are meaning them, these are our people.
Are you serious? These are our people. So you're a Stoneboy fan?
Sure, I'm a Stoneboy fan.
Stoneboy, Shatta Wale. Lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You are Osibisa fan?
Oh, I saw them when they started. It was fantastic. I think the first song we heard on GBC at the time was the Coffee song. Okay. And boy, we could not make head or tail of who this group was. But we heard the name Osibisa. And even my father went to buy the LP. Those days we used to call it LP. Beautiful. He played it on his Grundig radiogram. It was fantastic. I was a little young man then. I think it was class 6. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I mean,
so you grew up with them?
I grew up with them.
Yeah.
But I listen to today's music too. I'm a lover of music, so
okay.
I listen to today's music.
You love the young boys?
I listen to all of them.
Okay. Which one would you want to put your bet on in terms of the artist?
I don't know the names, but I listen to the songs. Becca, I love Becca.
Okay.
Becca,
very talented girl.
Very talented girl. And then there's another slim gentleman, fair-colored.
Kiddy?
Kiddy.
Yeah.
Love the guy.
Talented guy, yes. Absolutely. All right, so yeah, we love Ghanaian music. We love what the boys are doing, and we appreciate them very much. I'm sure you are Ghanaian, you also love to listen to them and all that. So let's continue. Even after Ghana Month, let's still continue to project what we stand for as a people. So our music, our food, our dance, everything in between. Yeah.
Yo.
That won't be bad, but
we need to build the patriotism.
Yeah.
Which is missing.
Yeah.
And people are defecating near Independence Square. You ask yourself, what kind of people are we? We need to love our country more. No, we need to love our country more. We need to do something to change the narrative.
But the way
we love our country. Why would it be difficult?
We've been saying this over the years.
But you see, if we need to love our country more, should the example come from the people or the example should come from leadership?
No. It's both. It's both sides. Look, I haven't seen any Nigerian president go to the UN in a suit.
That's very true.
Never seen any. They love what they wear. Yeah. So if even our president were to go to, all the
summits.
All the summits.
Yeah.
And he can be a leader of fashion. Wear some nice Ankara, beautiful. Because the white people, they like it all. They just can't say it.
Yeah.
And we've got to love our country more because the young ones coming, they don't know anything. And if they are used to what you are wearing and the way you are looking, that is what they will follow.
Yeah.
When President Akufo brought Friday wear, it was fantastic. Yeah. Do we do Friday wear anymore?
I do it. I can say for myself that I do
most,
every
most,
Friday
most
of the show.
institutions still do it. Even the schools, they do.
And the banks,
we should move.
The banks to do it. Yeah.
We should do the African way. Africa is beautiful. Oh.
Yeah, it is.
Africa is beautiful. God loves Africa. It's the people He's put inside. That's the problem.
Now I'm imagining
He loves everybody.
Yes.
God loves everybody.
But you see, you know something? When I woke up this morning, after having my shower, I was sweating. The heat. So something occurred.
You didn't have light.
I had light. Something occurred to me. If what God is telling us, He said this is a little bit of hell.
Oh.
If you don't change your ways, look at the heat. It's true.
So there
A hampony, there be a hampony
That's right.
near hell. This heat we can't. And then we get into hell. We should change our ways. Because the heat is just something.
We will. It should start from the leaders. Now, I mean, I'm
Why
just.
should it start from the leaders? It start from
like-
us. It shouldn't start from the leaders. It start from us. Bottom up, not top down.
Okay.
If it starts bottom up, the leaders say, hey, the people don't like what we are doing. So let's change. Yeah, come on.
We'll pray for that. We'll pray for
we'll
that.
pray.
And Lawyer spoke about the president going to summits with African print or African wear, if you like. And I'm imagining the president in the woolen mare clothes.
Why not?
Woolen mare. Summit.
So?
Okay, coming up. This is the splash. Hi there, welcome back here on the show. It's time for News Flash here on Prime Morning. We're getting to the front page of the newspapers and then we'll delve into our conversations. On the front page of Daily Guide this morning, it says GRA gets new boss and ECG board chair resigns. Approved ministers Supreme Court to Parliament and the AG ends evidence in one trial and we understand that it's been freed. Now, Bawumia Commission's second fire academy. That's Daily Guide this morning. And the back page, Hearts of Folk announces new board members. Black Stars coach vows to turn things around. And Ghana's 69 medals, significant takeaway from African Games. That's also captured at the back page of Daily Guide this morning. Let me see if we can have some entertainment, but if we don't, okay, we don't have any of that. But let's go to the Daily Statement. The Daily Statement says that GRA to become more business friendly. Bawumia assures the AGI. Presby moderator urges sacrifice for greater good. Diplomatic finesse of maritime Murray Loudable. And Supreme Court dismisses injunctions against new ministers. 10,720 housing units to address housing deficit. And $300 million loan from World Bank hits BOG account. And told you about that a bit earlier on the show. We're going to be looking at that also. And then also at the back page, where it all went wrong for Wales as Euro 2024 dream ends with gut-wrenching Poland loss. Now, away from that, let's get into the new finder. It says policeman cuts off year of suspect in torturous interrogation. Julia Siem is the AG, GRA Commissioner General, and AGI backs Dr. Bawumia's call for innovation in GRA operations and 10,720 housing units under development to address housing deficit. Opong Nkrumah says so. That's the new finder this morning. Let's get to the ABC News, and it says Veeb Bawumia right GRA harassing our businesses. Traders says so. Reshuffle of CEOs next week as President Akufo-Addo dissolves the GRA board. And again, Zipline hits over 500,000 medical delivery milestone. And Ghana needs problem solvers and people with integrity, says Bawumia. So those are stories making the front page of the ABC newspaper this morning. That'll be all for the newspapers at the front pages. So we're going to get into our substantive issues. And earlier I told you about the $300 million World Bank loan that has hit the account of the Bank of Ghana. There's going to be disbursement. We'll be looking at that as well. Kofi J will be joining us this morning to throw some light on that. You may also be aware of the fact that Herbert Crapper has been appointed as the new ECG board chair. Now, our major issues we'll be looking at is the injunction that was put before, the Supreme Court as against the President's approval of the ministers and those that have been reshuffled. Parliament actually refused because there was the injunction on it. The Supreme Court has thrown out that case. It says it's frivolous and it's an abuse of the process of the, apex court. And so we're going to be looking at that. Lawyer Jantua is here with me this morning. He's an Esquire, senior member CPP. Joining us this morning, as always, he's a family to this family. Raphael Kumah is also joining us here on the show. He's NPP parliamentary candidate, Bolibam Boys, Savannah region. And the E A Mettle NUNOO is coming all the way from the NDC communications team member. Joining us this morning here on the show. Gentlemen, once again, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for making time for us today. Again and again, we appreciate it. But we're going to start off. We'll leave the bank, the World Bank's loan for now. When Kofi joins us, he will throw some light on, and then we'll be able to get into that conversation. But let's start off with the Supreme Court's injunction that has been thrown out. Lawyer, I'm going to start off with you. So you may be aware that our very own Dafemako actually put this together and wanted the courts to stop the president for engaging in that approval. But of course, the Speaker of Parliament was also waiting for that injunction to be done with before he also goes ahead with Parliament proceedings to ensure that we're able to get those ministers, legally, if you want, put into their positions. But now the Supreme Court says that no, it's frivolous. It's abuse of the process. You're a lawyer. Make us understand.
So really, what do you want me to say?
You want to understand.
What do you want to understand?
Why is it
The
frivolous?
Supreme Court
Why is it
said-
abuse of process?
The Supreme Court said it's frivolous.
Is it?
You cannot stop the president from doing his work.
Is it the case?
That is what the Supreme Court says.
Your interpretation.
I'm not going to interpret it. That is what the Supreme Court says. So far as they are concerned, they look at the case, it's frivolous. They've thrown it out, period. I'm not going to argue with any judgment. It is what they say it is. They've gone through it and they say it's frivolous. They've thrown it out.
So in this case,
But really and truly, isn't it tit for tat? Isn't it a delay?
that's how this looks.
Isn't it the delay in the process? Look, we should stop the kind of politics we're playing in this country. Really. It's not helping any of us. There are much more serious things we need to deal with. It's the president's responsibility to appoint, isn't it?
Yep.
You are stopping him from appointing people, ministers, right? What's the reason? What was the reason given? Dafemapo, what was his reason given to injunct the president from appointing his ministers? I don't see it. Supreme Court says, but there's a substantive case that they need to now go into. So let's see what happens on that score. Really. So if the Supreme Court has thrown it out, they've thrown it out. Let's move on.
In the other side of the film, now what will be his next move now? Is there anything that he would
What
want?
kind of next move? From what has happened? When the Supreme Court throws your case out, what other court can you go to for an appeal? If it were High Court, you go to the appeals court, don't you?
Yeah.
Supreme Court, what court do you go to? Yeah, you can appeal to them. You can go back and appeal to them, but what is it for? Why would you want to do that? Let's move on. There are much more serious things to discuss. Let's stop this banter between our political parties, opposition and party in power. This country, look, the Dumso is not easy. The Dumso is not easy. Now we are having problems with cocoa. Finding funding. We are having problems finding funding for electricity. Look, there are major things we need to talk about. For me, this shouldn't be something...
It's not something you should have listed in the first place.
I don't think so. Look, we've got to get to a point where both opposition and party in power should be able to talk behind the scenes and say, this is a waste of time. Let's move on. This banter back and forth. It becomes too personal. It really doesn't help the country. Because the ordinary citizen, this morning, they've woken up this morning. The ordinary man is this morning. What are they thinking of? Are they thinking of the suit in Parliament? Are they thinking of the Supreme Court throwing it out.
Education.
No, they're thinking of how do I make ends meet this morning? How do I feed my children? How do I have enough money to take transportation? And so many things. So please, we are here to serve the people. Let's serve the people who have put us in power to move this country forward. Because for me, I don't see why we should waste our time on it. So people throw it out, let's move on.
Okay,
Simple.
right. Mettle.
KMJ, a very good morning to your very good self, a good morning to our cherished viewers, and a good morning to the people of Ghana. And I'll say good morning to the incoming president of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You know, it's been tough coming to, since yesterday night and coming to the studio. If you look at most of the news portals, you realize that even though leadership of this country claim that there's no doomsday, there are doomsday everywhere. We had a case about Tema General where babies and incubators, the lights went off, and you know,
Very disturbing video.
very disturbing. I saw a post on social media, somebody who lost the dad at Mampobi Hospital because he was on oxygen and the lights at the hospital went off. Even right in my home, yesterday the lights went off and on several times. So I wonder why anybody in leadership, in charge of energy of this country, will not accept the fact that there is doomsday. There's also water shortage in most of the parts of Accra. There are manholes all over our roads, street lights not working, traffic lights not functioning. What sector of the economy can you say is functioning? So it's sad to be a Ghanaian. I think that if you find yourself in any other part of the world, especially in Europe, I don't think you will love to have your way back to Ghana. So it's sad to be a Ghanaian. Having said that,
He came back.
But
he came back.
having said that, unless there's something very compelling,
Oh, see.
that is the only reason why you come back. But
He loves his word. He loves his word.
if you have an option, I don't think you'll have to come back to this country under this current leadership. Having said that, with the throwing out of the case, the Defiamapo case in the Supreme Court, you see, when you look at the laws of Ghana and then you look at how cases are handled in court, anybody can go to court and file a writ. Anybody can go to injunct. Anybody at all can go to court. But that is why in the CI 47, the civil procedure, there are rules that govern some of these things. If you look at Order 11 Rule 18, it talks about grounds where pleadings that have been filed in courts can be struck out. First one is when there's no reasonable cause of action. And the second is when it's scandalous, frivolous, and vexatious. And the third is when they feel that it might prejudice, embarrass, or delay fair trial in the court. And the fourth is when they feel that it's going to be an abuse of the process of court. So that is within the jurisdiction and the discretion of the judges. And there are certain things that they look at to determine whether the case that you've brought to court falls under any of these categories. And when it falls under any of these categories, the court at any point in time, under Order 11 Rule 18, can strike it out. You understand? So I wasn't surprised when I saw that the Supreme Court had ruled in that manner. But it's interesting to note that there was an earlier case that was filed by Richard the Last Guy that was challenging the constitutionality of the sexual rights bill.
Yeah.
That was challenging that. And that was filed on the 5th of March. Till date, that case has not been listed for hearing. 2 weeks after the 5th of March, Honorable Defiamapo filed a case at the same Supreme Court, also trying to injunct the
Approval of the
ministers. And just then, a case that was filed 2 weeks earlier has not even been listed for hearing in the court. And there's even an earlier case that was filed in 2022 when some members of parliament challenging the constitutionality of the electronic levy, that's the e-levy, in 2022. Till date, that case has still not been listed for hearing. Richard the Last Guy filed a case on the 5th of March, also about this sexual rights bill. It's not been listed for hearing. Honorable Defiamapo filed 2 weeks after even the Richard the Last Guy, and it's been listed for...
The Attorney General has been explaining that.
It's been listed for...
He spoke extensively on that.
It's been listed for hearing. That is why I gave an earlier example with the e-levy situation. You see, when you look at the judicial process, you are part of the legal system. You understand some of these things, why cases are struck out. I'll just mention on 11 Rule 18, the grounds on which cases are struck out. So when some of these things happen, and you understand the process of the law, it won't be surprising. But then I'm giving you that, won't these examples that I've given, the way that some cases are listed very fast for hearing and some are not. There are two cases that has brought a deadlock between the legislative arm of government and the executive arm of government. That's the Richard Delaskai's case and also the Defi Amakpo's case. So it has brought a deadlock between these arms of government. Because if you look at the principle of checks and balances and separation of powers, when president appoints his ministers, it's a duty of parliament to vet them. When parliament also passes laws, it's a duty of the president to also assent to it. This brings checks and balances so that nobody can abuse their functions, their powers given to them by the constitution. But then, if you look at this case, it's a struggle for power. Struggle for executive supremacy, parliamentary supremacy is political. And then, when these arms of government fight, okay, it does not yield to the interests of Ghanaians. It does not in any way solve the current inflation that is happening in Ghana. It does not stop people who are going to buy your kegari, that's a gobe. That initially or previously they were able to buy gobe at 2 Ghana cedis, and today before you can buy a sustainable gobe to eat that you'll be satisfied, you need to spend more than 10 Ghana cedis. It does not change the fact that the price of butter bread that in 2016 was sold at 2 Ghana cedis is today being sold at 20 Ghana cedis. It does not change the fact that the price of a sachet of pure water in 2016 that was sold at 1 cedi 50 pesos today is sold at 10 Ghana cedi, 12 Ghana cedi, depending on the brand. So it's important that these two organs of government resolve their deadlock and their differences. You could clearly see that the case Honorable Raphael Kumah filed was also to stop because the president says that because there's a case that has been filed on the sexual rights, he is not going to assent it to the case's head. Honorable Raphael Kumah also filed this case, and 2 weeks after, that case has been listed for hearing immediately. Doesn't it raise issues on how we are handling the judicial process and systems in Ghana?
Being selective?
Yes, it's clearly, you could see examples that they are being selective. And you could see another example. The NDC last year filed a case on against the Electoral Commission on the limited registration exercise. And you realize when that case was listed for hearing, it was listed for hearing after the limited registration exercise was completed. It was done and dusted. That is when the case was listed for hearing. Who's going to go to court for that case again? Because time is of essence in when judgment must be given and adjudicated on for people to feel that they've gone to the court. My problem with all these scenarios is that, see, when you and I fight, when individuals fight, when institutions fight, when organs of government fight, the Constitution have made provisions for us where to go to for our issues to be resolved. Now, my problem is when people find out that people do not have confidence in that system, that they are going to get any fair trial or any fair hearing, it's going to cause much more problems for us. You realize that after the 2012 election petition, when the judges ruled that the elections are won at the polling station, after 2020 election petition, they say elections are won at the polling stations, you see that members of the NDC are saying that they are not going to court anymore. But whatever will be done at the polling station
will be on the grounds.
Will be on the grounds to win it. Do you understand? Sometimes you might not have a case and you might go. And when they find out that your case is scandalous, is frivolous, is vexatious, they're going to strike you out. When they realize it's an abuse of power, you have no reasonable cause of action, they will strike it out. Or might prejudice the trial itself, they'll strike it out. But then the judiciary should put themselves in a position that all political parties, all organs of government, citizens within the country will have confidence in them, that when they have a problem, they'll turn to them. All these things going on with these examples that are going on, we, the members of the NDC, we are not happy. You realize that yesterday, our General Secretary, Fiavi Kwete, issued a press release that we are not happy. He cited some of these examples. So clearly, the NDC is not happy with the conduct of the judiciary and how they are handling some of these cases. So we plead with them as Ghanaians. We have only one Ghana. They should show that and build confidence of us in them so that we can all run to them when we have issues.
Great. Thank you. Raphael.
Yeah. Sorry, just a quick one. All this thing has started. How did it come about? All this confusion, and how did it come about? I blame the president. I blame the president.
Because he refused to assign?
Yes, I blame the president. He should do his constitutional duty. I don't think any suit in court can stop the president from doing his constitutional duty. And he swore to the Constitution. He swore to abide by the Constitution.
Maybe he's been
what is
listening,
it? Please, I said so. The Constitution instructs his duty. They have sent a bill to you.
Yeah.
If you don't agree to it, tell us why, and let's move with the process. You can't injunct it and say because there's a case in court. It's your duty. What if somebody now decides to injunct the president because they feel he's not doing his duty? What happens? Doesn't the what do you call it stop? His duty stop?
Yeah.
Doesn't it bring the country to a halt?
Yeah.
The problem comes from the president. He should know this country is not for him.
You think he's setting a bad precedent?
Very, very bad precedent. Very bad precedent. Yeah. He should stop it. The president is being stubborn and troublesome. I don't know why. I don't know why. This is a country of laws. We have a constitution. And to make matters worse, he is a constitutional lawyer. He understands the principles of the constitution. Abide by it. All this thing we are doing, waste of time for nothing. Just because of what? LGBTQ plus law? You want to satisfy some other people? Has he spoken to Ghanaians? Tell me whether he's spoken to Ghanaians about. Has he spoken to the international community? Yes. Do they come before us? Is the international community, are those the ones who vote him into power? It's Ghanaians who vote him into power. It's so for
maybe it's because of what we stand to gain from
for nothing at all, he should tell us something. And if he's not prepared to tell us something, go by the process. The process says, if you do not agree to a bill that has been brought, send it back to Parliament within a certain duration of time and give reasons. Has he given a reason? And even when he decided that he's not going to do it, was there a suit in court at the time he said it? Was there? He said he had heard.
Yeah. It was
he had heard. How can a president say he has heard when you have an attorney general? Won't you call your attorney general and say, Mr. Attorney General, I've heard this. Go to the Supreme Court and go and find out whether it is true so that you can quote it when you are talking. You say you've heard. He's taking us for granted. He's taking us for granted. And this is wrong. The president should be called to book. It is wrong what he's doing. Very wrong. Because we have a constitution in this country. Down the road, something similar will happen again. But we have a case in court. It happened during Akufo-Addo's time. Why can't it happen now? This precedent.
The NDCs are looking at impeachment. In fact, one of the press,
he should stop it. The president should stop it.
That's what I'm saying. That
they spoke about pending impeachment that they did.
That's what I'm saying. That when the two organs, the deadlock has arisen because of the actions of the president, you realize that now Parliament also have some powers and functions, and that they can also
exhibit that.
Yes, that they can exhibit, because clearly the president or the executive arm of government is exhibiting or implementing powers, executing powers that they have within their jurisdiction. Parliament also have certain powers that they can also exhibit. 137. And don't trust that if there's secret voting today in Parliament. You realize that even some members of the MPP, parliamentarians in Parliament, would also vote to support the NDC if there's a secret ballot today in Parliament. And so looking at all these things, what at all is going to happen if the president assents to the sexual rights bill, popularly known as the anti-LGBTQ bill? What will happen if he assents to it? Is it a case that, is it feeding into the scenario or the thinking that the MPP or the president or the flag bearer, they've gotten some monies from these associations to promote their campaign, so therefore they don't want to do anything against them? Is it feeding into that narrative that these people are sponsoring them, so they don't want to do anything against them, and they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that that bill does not come to reality? Does it feed into that narrative? Because clearly, if you look at all the process, and yesterday I read an article by one of the law lecturers at Gimpa, Dr. Justice Remsai, who was saying that the actions of the president does not promote private member bills in this country. because there was one bill, the anti-witchcraft bill, private member bill by Sosu, and the president did not assent, but he gave reason that because it was a private member bill, he was not going to assent. If you are not going to assent, give us reasons. And so now that bill has not been assented to. He gave reason for that. If you don't want to sign this one, tell Ghanaians, address Ghanaians. He's good at fellow Ghanaians and coming on television and telling us that, yes, fellow Ghanaians, and he speaks his Irish, English to us. He should come and address Ghanaians why he doesn't want to sign it.
Okay.
And Ghanaians will not take anything away from him. But with this that he's doing, you realize that Parliament also have several legal options that they can also fall on. And when they start falling on that, does that solve the bread and butter issues affecting us as a country?
All right, let me go to Raphael. Raphael, your take on that.
Good morning to you and the viewers. It's glad to be here again this new year. And I want to see the opportunity to say a very good morning to our Muslim brothers who are doing their fasting. And we are with them in spirit and we are with them in prayers too. Kambi, I like to see things amidst our challenges. We have also had successes. We have the free senior high school, even though there are issues with it, but it's still been able to solve some of the problems that we have in this country. Apart from that, the vice president, the presidential candidate of the NPP, is proposing that when it becomes the next president, there will be a new tax regime. And for me, I think it's a call that we must all embrace and welcome, where there will be we will be benchmarking our tax regime with that of Togo, so that people don't run away to Togo to get things, goods and services cleared. And also, there will be a flat rate system per container system. I think that this is a thing that we need to be looking at. Obviously, there are challenges, but in the midst of all of these challenges, we are also happy that we have some successes. And it's about time we look beyond the partisan party politics and look at it from the national perspective. I think that my two colleagues, I thought they were going to turn to the issue, but I think they digress a bit. That's why I was actually watching you.
Is that why you're also doing the same thing?
I'm not doing the same thing. I'm just trying to set the tone for my discussions.
I'm sure it was the issue about the economy and how things are going instead of...
To start, the FEMACO, was exercising his rights as a Ghanaian. Article 12 of the Constitution gives him that right, that he has a right to be able to exercise whatever right he wants to enjoy. And the same Constitution in Article 57 puts the president as the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and for that matter, takes charge of the country. And the same Constitution in Article 195 confers on the president the duty or the power to appoint. So basically, he has the power to appoint and to hire and fire.
Yeah.
And in 2019, when the former deputy chief chief of staff, Julius Debra, was the Eastern Regional Minister, he was reassigned to the local government ministry. At the same time, you have Efa Bafi, then Deputy Minister for Local, Lands and Natural Resources, reassigned to Chieftaincy. All of these things have happened in the past, and nobody had issues with that. So why now? So I'm of the view that it's more or less like political game that we are all playing. Let's delay the process. Let's sabotage the government. Because if these appointments are not approved or they don't go through, it halts governance. And things must be done to alleviate the ailing conditions of the people. So some of these things, like I keep saying, it shouldn't be all the time partisanship. We should be able to put the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian into perspective. What we are doing in court today will not put the bread and butter on our table. What is it going to do? It's rather going to further deepen the cracks that we have already as a country. And going forward, it's about time we also, maybe the speaker needs to be a bit careful with some of these things. At the time he read that there was an injunction on the voting of nominees or whatever it was, there was no injunction at the court. The man who filed the case also actually said the same thing, that, there was no injunction on the issue. But the speaker had to halt the process because of it. I'm sure he was misinformed. So we are only going to advise him that, subsequent issues, he should take his time and then do
Well, the speaker felt that some values, and he stated clearly that these are values, and he believed that as a country and as a people, if things like these are sent to the president, he would want to understand that the president also understands from where they are coming from. And it's the reason why he felt like, okay, he's also going to delay the process a bit
But can
before the injunction came out, because he rightly said
you go to the court seeking some reliefs, and the reliefs that were being sought, injunction wasn't part of them at the initial stages. It wasn't part of it. So the speaker has no basis to say that let's hold the vetting processes or whatever process it is leading to the confirmation of these appointees.
Maybe it was the way they were addressed. If you saw the letter that Asante signed to Parliament, you know, he also felt like a bit aggrieved. And so if that is what it is, then let's look at it that
I think he was only making, inferences rather than speaking to the issues. There was a clear case that was sent to court. Was the man seeking an injunction or not? There wasn't. So why would the speaker, think for him that he sought to seek an injunction on the issue? So for me, this whole thing is about injunction and all of it is not important.
So I thought he'd been served.
In fact, at the time he was even making the case, AG had not been served yet. At the time he had made that pronouncement, the AG came out.
The speaker of
No, but he read the served what do you call it?
in the floor of Parliament.
On the floor of Parliament. He had been served at
That's
the
what I'm
time.
saying. That's how
That
he
was
also
the
felt
basis.
like.
That was the basis of him saying what he said.
He said exactly.
Maybe
he also felt a bit.
Maybe he wanted to allude to President Akufo-Addo's own, because at the time he made a statement, he had not been served. There was
The president had not been served.
Yeah, so maybe he wants to say not
I
the
think
speaker, because the speaker read the injunction. He read it
Yes.
in Parliament.
Yeah.
But the president, when he made a statement, there was not even called process.
The crux of the matter is this. Is the case having any merit? It doesn't have a merit. That is why the court says that, look, you are abusing the process, it's a frivolous situation, let governance continue and go on. That is the most important thing. And how long are you going to continue on this tangent? How many months does the government have to end its first 8 years?
The lawyer believes that if the president has assented to the bill, all these things will not have happened.
The
You agree with
the
him?
president is a lawyer by profession. The president respects the Constitution, and the
doesn't
president
respect the
would
Constitution.
not do anything untoward.
Doesn't respect the Constitution.
One of the persons in this country who has fought for the human rights of these people in this country is Nana Akufo-Addo. There's no person you can say that the person has fought more than Akufo-Addo.
So this is a similar thing that we're
The
seeing
president
right
is
now.
only taking his
He's fighting for
time.
human
The president
rights.
is taking his time. The president is a listening president. He wants to listen to everybody. The president wants to give opportunity for the law to work. So these issues of bias. There was even
Raphael,
other
don't you think that we wouldn't have been where we are right now, just like lawyer said, if we had gone past that stage? I'm sure all of these things wouldn't have come up.
You are saying if there's no guarantee to what you are saying. If you had also passed it, other things would have equally happened, which we don't have control over. So for me,
He has the executive power.
the president has to take his time to do things, and that is what he's doing. The president has the ear for everybody. He will take his time, do what he has to do as a president. The president is one person that we know that he has respected the Constitution. He has time for the Constitution. He will listen to everybody. And as to which case gets called first or not, that is a matter of discretion to the judiciary. And I don't think that the president's control which case is to be called. To be called on. So this whole banter, for me, let's look at it from the perspective that will it solve any problem? It wouldn't. Halting the process, what will it solve? Nothing will be solved. That is the way we should be saying things. We have to be honest with our people.
Talk to your president.
Our president is a listening president. The president is taking his time to do what he has to do as a president. And for us, let's give the man the time. He's been so excellent, even though he has, we had a few challenges in the country, but the president has taken responsibility, and he's doing what he can do to put us back. In fact, things are beginning to get much better. Okay, so for me, this whole issue of president is not listening, no, I don't think that is the case.
KMG.
Yesterday, Ben said that we're on the right path,
just-
and it came under very serious backlash.
Just a minute. Just a quick minute.
Yeah.
Hasn't the president spat in the face of the parliamentarians?
As in what is happening right
yes,
now?
hasn't he spat in the face
That's what
of
it
the
means?
parliamentarians? When they were passing the bill in Parliament.
In Parliament.
When the speaker said, "Is anybody in favor of this?" They all said, "Aye." Is anybody not in favor of this? Did you hear anything?
No.
Quiet. What did that mean? It meant the parliamentarians were in favor. And if you all parliamentarians in Parliament are in favor, and you are saying, because you've heard of a suit, you are holding on, haven't you spat in their face? That the work they are doing in Parliament, you can't be bothered, you can't care. It's got nothing to do
That's what Raphael is saying, that he wants to take his time.
What time again?
So
you should listen to Ghanaians.
What he's saying, what it means is that once Parliament approves something, it must go to work. What he's saying?
No, what I'm saying is that do your duty as the Constitution
The president
says.
is doing his duty. He has to
If
listen
you
to
don't
everybody.
agree
He has to
to
take
it,
time.
if you don't agree, the Constitution lays down what you should do. Take it back to Parliament. Give reasons, and let's move on.
If the president's decision was not important, I don't think that they were absenting for him to assent on it. I mean, to assent it.
Look, the president.
So let's.
Well, that is
it's
constitutional
administrative.
mandate.
It's administrative.
I mean, whether he,
the president assenting to it is administrative.
exactly. So whether he wants to or not,
That also means that the president must have a say in what he has to
He
sign.
should go ahead and do what he has to do.
The president has to do what he has to do.
It's gone by. He has the
people of this
constitution.
country. The constitution has conferred on
He's
him
stubborn.
the power to be able to lead this country. And the president will not put this country at any cross position. The president will not do what is wrong for us. The president will put our interests first. And we have to respect the president's decision. Is the
We do.
So in your opinion,
Even if it's going wrong.
there's been fairness.
The president
extreme
is
fairness
taking his time to
with
do
regards to
what
what
he
is
has to
happening right
do.
now.
The president is taking his time to do what he has to do for his people. He doesn't want
If
to
the
be in a rush.
if the shoe were on the other foot, if this was another president and not his president, the same people who will talk against it.
Well,
Beto.
The same people who
these
talk
are your
against
words.
it. But it's true.
I don't think the president, from the time that he became president, has been able to stand up to the title that he had before he became president as a human rights lawyer
activist.
and a constitutional lawyer and an activist. I don't think he's been able to stand up to it. There are lots of instances I can give. You remember the Auditor General, what's his name? Domlevo's case, where the manner in which he sacked him.
Yeah.
You remember the E-levy case? You remember the anti...
No, but what did the Supreme Court say about the Domlevo case?
Yes, he said what he did was wrong. Unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional.
That's what the Supreme
You
Court
tell
said
me
about
you
his
respect
case.
the Constitution?
So I'm saying that title that was given to the president is overrated, and he has not been accept and did not accept and consent to this LGBTQ issue. So president in this month of Ramadan should sign. In fact, I was also expecting him to tell his flag bearer, the leader of his party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, that at this point in time where he's fasting in the holy month, he should advise his president and the boss that he should sign to this bill. But Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is silent on it. The president is dodging after making comments that is bound to happen. If you look at the president's actions and everything, you can clearly conclude without any iota of doubt that the president, the flag bearer, the parliamentarians are out. So the president, the flag bearer, and the Attorney General and majority of the leaders of the NPP, they support this LGBTQI issue. If they do not support, if Raphael does not support on this television today, Raphael to tell us, Raphael, if you do not support, tell us here today, as a person, whether you accept or you consent to the LGBTQI or not. If the president does not support it, if the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, does not support this LGBTQI issue, they should come out and tell us. But so far as we are seeing the way the actions are going, and Christian Council, Ghanaians, everybody is calling upon them, and they are not doing that, I can conclude without any iota of doubt that the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the vice president and the leader of the party today, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, they support the LGBTQI.
Yeah, that's not factual. That's not factual.
No, I'm saying that I'm basing that the assumptions on their actions. That's based on these actions.
But the actions could also prove otherwise.
It can't prove otherwise. If you don't support it, sign it.
All of us were in this country.
If you do not support it, sign it.
When the president clearly said that, he said, I will not watch this to happen under my tenure. I don't know whether you recall that.
Yeah.
So
the
sign
president
it.
said that
So
clearly.
sign it.
That is the commitment to what he intends to do.
That's not commitment.
That's number one. And of course, he went ahead to say it is bound. This conversation we are having is bound to happen. I mean, let me tell you something. You see, whether we like it or not, these things have been discussed over some years ago. Let me put it back to
So you support that it's bound to happen?
The point is this.
So you support it's bound to happen?
We have been bold enough that we have allowed a private member's bill to come to this stage of assenting it. Under their tenure, what happened? We had the same conversation, but it never crossed in a bill.
Which bill?
We are here saying that.
Which
I mean,
bill?
the party or their party was. They wanted an injunction on the appointment of this.
The ministers.
Yes, ministers. And somebody else is also going to put an injunction on this assenting of this bill. You want them to treat them as different cases. If you don't want this one passed, why do you want the other one to pass? But it is very clear. The president has been clear in these things. And you see, as I said, the president said that this will not happen under his tenure. Even though it's gotten to the stage of being assented to, the president wants to take his time and do whatever he has to do.
So we believe that the president
I
will
believe that at the
eventually
end of the day, the president will make a decision that will be in the interest of Ghanaians. The president will not mortgage our future or our country for anything. The president is a man of his words. the president will do what he says he's going to do. And we are all
And this will
going to
happen
rally.
before he leaves office?
We'll leave it to the test of time.
Okay, we'll leave it at
When,
test of
when
time.
the president when the president talked about LGBTQ+, wasn't he referring to same-sex marriages? Wasn't that what he was referring to? Not LGBTQ as a whole. So he was segregating it. Let him go ahead and sign this thing. Ghanaians don't want it.
Simple.
Simple. The Ghanaians voted you into power. Simple. And I'm telling you, and I'll state it and keep stating it. If they don't sign this bill, Ghanaians will put the economy and everything aside and throw the MPP out of power. Watch it. Because Ghanaians are against this particular act.
It's surprising
well.
people like Raphael cannot tell us their
We'll be taking some messages.
stance on the
We'll be
matter
taking
is-
some messages
And
from our
then-
viewers
they
in
will do
a
what is
couple of
right for
minutes. We'll be going to our next issue as well. We'll be looking at the investment holders and the protest yesterday here on the show. The $300 million US has also hit the account of Bank of Ghana. We'll be looking at that. Now, the investment holders are looking forward to going to the Ministry of Finance. Now, they went to the Bank of Ghana yesterday, and they're hoping to go to the Ministry of Finance. They say they believe that that's going to be the next stage to go. Let's get some messages, and then when we come back, we'll get into those other conversations. Let me start from here. This one over here says, good morning, Mr. Host. The President Addo is sleeping on the job. Doomsday problem, health problem. No sector of the economic is working. True from Kataman, so New Bridge sent in that. Let me get to this one over here. It says that, greetings, KMJ. I'm surprised Mr. Jantua always attack the president anytime he comes to your studio. I believe he has lived in Ghana all these years. Why shouldn't he campaign to become a president? If he didn't do that and someone has done it and ruling the country, why the jealousy? His demeanor always shows how he's jealous of the president. And to the NDC guy, where was John Mahama and the parliamentarians when this LGBTQ issue was raised during the NDC era? I want to tell them this will not win votes for them if that is their thinking. NDC, never again. And Nana you don't want to know who Lawyer Jantua's father is, if you're talking about presidency. Now, good morning, Mr. Host. The one with the blue shirt is 100 times stubborn ahead than Addo, and we are in this one. Official one was in bed with another man. Okay, who's in blue? Okay, that's lawyer. That's the reference to you. Mr. Host, good morning to you and your panelists. The 15-member Supreme Court justices can decide to rule against the NDC for the rest of Akufo-Addo's term of office. 7th December is just around the corner. Get you to Tokonu. Remember, the office you are holding is not your husband's sitting room. You will soon go down in history as the worst Chief Justice this country has ever had. Akonsi Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, KMJ. I'm not surprised the Supreme Court dismissed the injunction application filed by Honorable Nelson Dafemoko. Unfortunately, majority of the NDC lawyers done and win their cases on TV and radio stations. However, Alhaji Dr. Bawumia is focused on innovative to make Ghanaians' lives better for the betterment of all. Ghanaians have no time for the NDC distraction. BMW is possible. Good morning, KMJ. Please, why do you like always to bring two NDC people in your on your shows against the one NPP? Are you also doing the same hypocrite
I'm a
as
CPP boy, please.
Lawyer Jantua is not an NDC or NPP, he's CPP. So please, he's speaking as a Ghanaian, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with bringing two NPP in the studio. Good morning, Mr. Host. Yesterday, my wife called me that the light off in Manfe from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's from Moses in Lagos. Okay. Tell your wife that we're all going through this. We're all going through the same thing. So it's a birthday wish. We'll do that a bit later for you. This one over here says that, good morning, my brother. In fact, the Supreme Court decision on the Dafemoko case didn't surprise me at all. After all, they are unanimous FC, and you don't need a prophet to tell you the political color the Chief Justice is wearing. The president refused to sign the anti-gay bill, but he's seriously building a house for God. Bawumia, too, is seriously fasting for 30 days. Solomon Zenu, Martin Luther sent in that one. Another one of you says, good morning, KMJ, and to your panelists, as well as viewers. If I may ask, what sort of country do we live in? What is wrong with the Chief Justice to prioritize cases according to importance? A country that needs its citizens to work to increase productivity is denying it substantial ministerial approval to work. Please, Ghanaians, let's be serious for once. Major North-East region. Nanarigo sent in that one. Kwame is here. Let me see what Kwame sent to us. Okay, so happy birthday wish. We're going to do that for you a bit later. So we'll be coming out with all of that. Now, this one says, good morning, KMJ, and good morning to your panelists. I want to ask a simple question that I have observed for some time. The NPP guys who come to your show, do they come with their right apps to read to us or follow the discourse on the table? For some time now, I have observed that whenever a question is asked by the host, the NPP panelists will digress and be speaking on something different. They should come again. Kojo in Grovetown. Do you still have to do the Israel praise for the party if you like? Our father Nanado, who art in Ghana, incompetent be thy name. Why am I reading this? Thy doomsday comes, thy galamsey be done in Ashanti, as it is in Central. Give us this day our doomsday timetable, and forgive us for wasting our time to vote for you, as we forgive those who campaigned for you. And lead us not into civil war, but deliver our SHS from double track, for thy is the corruption. The borrowing is the unemployment. Forever you are. My name is Francis Atta. But for some reason, I wouldn't have read it.
I need that. I need that prayer.
Yeah, this is really innovative.
I need that prayer to say it every morning. I need that prayer. I need that prayer to say it every morning. Please send it to me.
This is very creative.
Brenda,
I don't know how you came out with this, but Francis,
thank you.
I think you really
encapsulates all the challenges in one.
KMJ, do you know that it was the current president who defended Local Bobe in 1990s when they wanted to establish the first private radio station?
So that's
the point is that I'm trying to say that what the guy is doing today is because of what Nanado has done in the past to give us private, freedom, the establishment of more private radio stations. So today,
which will enable people like him create
to say something like this. It's the president who has done this.
The president will laugh at this.
If the president,
this is something the president will laugh at.
If the president can do that, he should do more.
The president is doing more.
The president, he said he's putting his presidency on the line. Is Galamsey not going on?
It's going on, but the one president who has fought this issue about the legal mining is Nanado.
So why
there has been serious effort, Operation Calm Life,
after the president
all of these
defended Ekubebe, under his presidency, a lot of private radio stations were closed.
Yeah.
You know
the president.
Yeah, so it's also to his record. So let's just.
Well, I mean, he set the pace for
that. I need that prayer.
I'm going to close a lot.
I need to say that very morning every day.
It's very close to radio stations. Journalists are beaten. Journalists are scared to talk. Where's Manasseh Azuri? Where is our user Anas principle to fight corruption? Where's Anas today? The corruption is fighting Anas. So what he did in 19 whatever to Ekubebe, with his presidency, under his presidency, he's overruled all of them. He's overwritten all of them.
So
he set a new record. That shows that he's not a defender of the rights of people.
Okay, let me finish up with the messages and then we'll come back. This one over here says that correct scores a career as Suyane. It's possible, as they always said, someone could bolt away these essential kits for it's impossible. Mahama winning 2024 elections fearfully curtailed. We are also courteously monitoring their moves. I mean, Jane Mensah and the EC. So to aerodynamic to knock down their machinations for Mahama to win gracefully, inshallah. 24 economy is the game changer. It is all happening in our brochure. Never downplay it. It does not matter, IT or digital, 8 hours round shift. You can make it. It is possible. Greetings, Alaji Alasan Mayanka and Nana Akwantua of Dreamfield Pharmacy Center in that. Now, good morning, KMJ. The swift and fast judgment given by the Supreme Court on this application reminds me of the movie Game of Thrones, which depicts the power play and how the character Lannister's family used the court and the church to have their way is exactly what is happening in Ghana, body politics. The current NPP government is just using that strategy. Please watch that movie and you would understand this. Look, Nanado is being wicked, wasting our time, and I feel sad, disappointed in him. I therefore, the clergy, over the lords of the land and the core National Security Corps should call the president to order. This is so disrespectful to us, and politics power play by the president, Nana Kwesi Odame, in a name sentence. That one as well. I'm sure most people who have watched Game of Thrones would understand what you're talking about. I've seen a few of that happening in Game of Thrones, by the way. Good morning, all. We pray the courts of Ghana will be fair in dealing with the matters, not letting society think they are on the side of their appointees, even when cases are in the interest of the majority of Ghanaians, not power holders, because no one can stop the time forever. And that's Ben Mans who sent in that. Let me go to this one over here. Says that a very long one. Oh, good morning, Joy Prime. Please, what is this Attorney General and the NUNOO is doing? What this Attorney General and the NUNOO is doing is to this country's judiciary system is not good at all. Why are they in a hurry to listen to Honorable Dafema Post case in the Supreme Court and not the LGBT case with the president, which was the first to arrive at the Supreme Court in much of interest to the Ghanaian? This country, we are joking with peace, so we are enjoying, but we need to be careful. Yet, just as yesterday, as the news broke out concerning Honorable Dafema Post case, the best comment you would see in all platforms is 7-0. This is how low we've sunk as the country. It's a shame. Just one day, the Ghanaian leader or leaders would indeed understand the true meaning of the power of the people. Is more than the power in power. Master Raman Tuna Saula. Tuna Kalma sent in that one as well. Good morning, Joy Prime. Not surprised about how things are happening in this country. We are mortals. We, the mortals, can have all the powers to direct, order, and extract any directive at all. Nonetheless, our Lord is the supreme decider. The mortals can continue to do what pleases them. The day of reckoning is coming. And I'm probably going to be doing the last one, and then we'll come back. A bit later, we'll read some more of the messages. But this one says, good morning, KMG. I love your outfit. You look splendid this morning. This is Priscilla watching you live from Medina. Priscilla, thank you so much. House of Sedem put that together for me. You can contact them. They're on social media. On IG is House_Sedem. And you can also get something as beautiful as what I'm wearing this morning. All right, thank you so much, appreciate it. Anyway, let's come back to it. So the investment holders situation now they're looking forward to going to the Ministry of Finance yesterday, and according to the leader in a press conference that he actually put together, it says you will recall that when the minority in Parliament held their protest, they stopped them at this point, and so we don't want to force the police to go against their own rule, and we're even going to do it at the roadside, but the sun is too much, and so we pleaded to be allowed here, but the original plan was to do it at the roadside. This is where they actually had to seek for shelter somewhere at the Kwame Kumah Mausoleum, and it says that the next plan is to go to the Ministry of Finance. 10 of us will go and meet the minister, and we have already given a petition to them since November 2023, so we are going to find out what the minister is doing about it. My goodness. Let me start with you, Raphael. How are we going about this?
KMJ, so foremost, I think that we have to empathize with those whose funds have actually been locked up.
Is the president doing so?
We have to empathize with them. People have worked for so many years. They've saved their funds. It's from that they pay their kids' fees. It's from that same fund that they take care of their medical bills and all of those things. People's marriages have gone bad because of these issues. And for me to sit here and say that is the best of a situation, I mean, I'll be very wrong to say that. By saying that also, I would like to also speak to the fact that in 2016, our former president in the State of the National Address admitted that actually there were some issues within the banking sector where people were creating what we call the pyramid, the schemes of the pyramids, where they will set up different banks using different funds from the same group, you know. And all of these things have led to where we are today. And 2017, under this government, 21 billion or so was used to help in the cleanup exercise, which have been able to save us about 52 billion Ghana cedis in this whole situation we find ourselves. So I would only empathize with our people who are victims of this situation. And also, I would say that the current delays in payment is not a deliberate attempt. I'm sure there are other legal issues and considerations that are halting the payment. And I'll also only admonish that whenever we want to do investments, we should also be very careful with the kind of investments that we do, kind of banks that we engage ourselves with, the financial institutions that we deal with. And for me, I wouldn't wish this for anybody, that after you go on retirement, your funds are locked up. So we only appeal to the Bank of Ghana and the appropriate authorities that whatever that can be done to help solve this should be done, so that our parents, our friends, our brothers could go back, to go about their normal daily lives. And it's something that we'll all join them in requesting for them for their funds. But we are also not so much going to put the blame on just government alone. Like I've always said, due processes have to be followed in order to ensure that the right thing is done. So for me, that's what I want to say about this one, that we let the processes work, we let whoever is in charge to do his job. In as much as we want it expedited for them, we have to also be mindful of the fact that there are processes and procedures that must be followed. Yeah.
Very well. Mettle.
Yeah, KMG. If you look at the financial institutions involved, according to the people in the demonstration, you find NDK Financial Services, you find SOC Financial Services, SDC Financial Services, Bond Savings and Loans, SIC Life Savings and Loans, and others. And then you ask yourself that with all the noise and hula baloo about the financial sector cleanup and all that, why do we still have these situations? The financial sector cleanup, the aim of that cleanup was to protect the monies of depositors. Okay, so depositors who have put their monies in savings and loans or one investment or the other was to protect it. So if we've collapsed lots of financial institutions, if we've spent these huge sums of money in the financial sector cleanup, and today we still have these issues popping up, then you realize that the amount of money, the 21 billion Ghana cedis that was spent on the financial sector cleanup was a waste of time and a waste of money. Because again, then it didn't come to solve the intended problem that they purported to have solved. Because if you have done the cleanup with all this huge sums of money, then why do we still have this problem? Having said that, the people involved, you realize that it's hard. If you listen and talk to some of them, our people whose monies are being invested in men's gold.
Yeah.
And I think I read, when you're reading the story, there was something flash about the fact that...
So I'm still confirming. Yesterday I saw the post and I saw a link to it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to speak to one of our business guys.
Okay.
To...
Well, I think you mentioned something like it. So let me leave that so you confirm.
When I saw that, I was also very surprised.
Yeah, because I don't know why that is not it's not trending on major news portals this morning. Because if that was the case, indeed that he's been freed from all these allegations and people have invested their life savings into men's gold.
Yeah.
I know people who have lost their lives as a result of that. I know people who invested their monies and thinking that they will get the returns to take care of their fees. Some of them, even their kids' school fees. Some of them intended, they used their spouses. They were planning to get married.
And there are big issues with...
Yeah, they're planning to get married. And then they put their money together. One convinced the other, and they went to invest there. And then they never got married. It became a major issue amongst them. So if you sit back and you are not involved, like you are not a victim of some of these things, you might think that it's a normal situation. But this thing happening is affecting people's livelihood. People are really suffering. People are not getting money to pay kids' school fees. People have lost businesses. People have even borrowed monies from friends and families thinking that the investment will go well and then they get their monies back. And surprisingly, I'm seeing SIC as part of the people who, the aggrieved people are also complaining about that their monies have been lost, locked up in there. You see, with this whole issue of corporate governance in the financial sector, okay, this whole issue of corporate governance in the financial sector, that it's the new law that came, the Special Deposits and Savings Law Act that was brought up. That was supposed to regulate some of these things with the experience that we've had in the past. In the past, we've had people like Mensa Otabil being appointed as board members of financial institutions, where if you go into details, they do not have much knowledge of that financial sector. The Special Deposit Taking Act that was brought up, Banks and Special Deposit Act, was supposed to regulate some of these things. So you see that some of the board of directors, now in that act, if you look at section 58 of that act, it talks about the qualification of people who should be appointed as
to be on those boards and CEOs and all.
If you look at section 59 of that act, it also talks about people who should be appointed senior managers. Because if you look at experience of what happened in some of the financial institutions, it happened with the CEOs and managers. And then the section 60 of that act also talks about the fact that the board of directors, if you are going to appoint the board of directors, you need a written approval, even from the CEO, a written approval from the Bank of Ghana. So Bank of Ghana directly is regulating the appointment of all board of directors, CEOs, directors, senior employees over there. You also need a written approval for even appointing senior management. And at any point in time, under Section 60 of that Act, the Bank of Ghana can revoke the appointment of any board of director, CEO, or member if they think that the person is not deemed fit. So if you have all these laws in place, we spent over 21 billion on financial sector cleanup and all that, and we still have today, we still have people who have their monies locked up, men's gold and all these things, then they do go or come. And to worsen the situation or to add salt into injury, it looks like the president is even silent about this issue. The financial minister of finance is even silent about this issue because they themselves are culpable. They've also slashed down people's investment. So how can they go and be talking about other people's home? But in concluding, I think that we should show some empathy to these people because as some of them, their entire savings, some of them are struggling, marriages have been broken up, lives have been lost, and all that. The executive arm of government should have some empathy for Ghanaians, especially with people who have put their monies into some of these things and find a way to help them.
Okay, thank you. Lawyer.
KMG, once upon a time, bonds were one of the safest places you could invest your money.
Yeah.
What has happened to us today? And unfortunately, we are killing the trust and the confidence in people investing in some of these things. I mean, when you look at the cross-section of people demonstrating, they are not only young people, they are old people there too. Should it come to that, if I've willingly decided to invest my money and in the end, I'm not getting anything back, especially when you look at the economic situation we find ourselves in today, people will be relying on the investment.
Yeah.
And that small investment I put together for it to yield so that I could use it down the road. What's happening? Yamutu. So I would just plead with the Bank of Ghana to make sure they can give these people first point of choice to help solve these matters. What has created it? What has created the fact that SIC and some of these institutions cannot pay back? What has created it? Have they had the opportunity to sit with them and go through step by step where they find themselves and what they're going to do about it? The Minister of Finance, the new Minister of Finance, if the old Minister of Finance didn't see it right to speak to bondholders and those investors who are losing their money, then this new Minister of Finance should please, the way he started going around the country, talking to all the different revenue points for government, he should also please find time to speak with these people. Because, look, the most natural resource you have in your country, the most important natural resource you have in your country is your people. And if your people are disillusioned for investing money, then it's even going to affect government. Because, you know, today, government's borrowing from treasury bills has gone up by 21% this year. If people didn't invest in treasury bills, will government find the money to go and borrow domestically? They wouldn't find the money. So it is important that they look at it. Mr. Finance, please do something about it before the life of this government ends. It's very important because look at that heat. Look at that heat. Walking in that heat, demonstrating.
They had to go 6 years.
It is not fair. It is not fair. You encourage people to invest. You encourage people not to keep their monies under their beds. It is killing that kind of thing where we can invest our money because people don't seem to have trust in investment anymore. So they'll rather keep the money in under their beds. The same way, a minister of state kept money in her house and didn't take it to the bank. She kept money in. People will start doing that, and I don't think it bodes well for the country. Please, let's do something about it.
So, just a quick one. You see this whole issue about funds that have been locked up. I am of the view that it could have been worse if these interventions were not made.
The cleanup?
The cleanup, because using 21 billion to save about 52 billion, per the records of the Bank of Ghana, 52 billion have been saved. So let's imagine if these things have been allowed to go on. And I'm very glad that Mettle mentioned the Safe Depositors Act. This is a product of the current regime. So for me, I believe that once you are given the mandate to solve a problem, to lead a country, it's your duty to solve these challenges that we have. So for me, I think that future we will not be having this conversation again once we are able to follow the Safe Depositors Act from the get-go. So we have to commend the government for being able to make such an intervention.
KMJ, I have a different view of it, because I believe that these banks that were closed down, if government would have taken it over and kept it running, you will not get foreign banks now having the upper hand.
Instead of closing them
yes,
down.
instead of closing them down. Because, do you know now the kind of capital flight we're having in this country with the foreign banks being the lead? Why couldn't we work it in such a way that those banks will still be there? Government can take over those, bring in new management, and the banks will still thrive. They are local banks, and we need our local banks. So all this entire cleanup stuff, yeah, there were some gremlins in some of the banks, but you could have saved the banks by taking it over, bringing new management in, the Bank of Ghana supervising it, and bringing them back to where it's supposed to be. But you close them down.
CBG couldn't have done that job.
CBG today, are they that strong? Are they that strong? Okay, this CBG.
But the idea was to make them
some of them
absolve.
Yes, you absolve some of them.
Yeah.
But some of them, they shouldn't have closed them down. They should have said, management of these banks, we have done away with them. We brought in new management, and we are going to make sure. Bank of Ghana is going to make sure that they monitor, because the international banks now have the power. They have the power. And remember, national banks come in, they don't keep their money here. They take their money out.
It's their interest they're looking for.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They have personal interest and no personal friends. At least our local banks have personal interest and also personal friends.
Yeah.
Because they are catering for Ghanaians. I do not understand it. And you spend 21 billion in that cleanup. 21 billion.
Raphael says that we
To
made
save-
more.
to save 54 billion.
Because we saved more.
Haven't people lost jobs?
Well, that's what we're
Haven't people lost jobs?
They have.
Sometimes when you
also.
take Uber and all this, when those driving, when you ask them, so why are you driving this? They tell you, well, I was in the bank. I used to work at a bank, and this and this, and now I'm driving Uber. Is that right for us? Is that good for us? Certain things that are Ghanaian, that are indigenous, let's try and build it. Even when it's gone wrong, try and make it right, and then build from there. Right now, how many local banks do we have? Strong local banks do we have? How many? Okay.
Very well. Well, maybe we'll do our last topic and then the 300 million. So this is actually to help support some projects for 2024, and it's finally been credited into the Bank of Ghana's account. It's the good news. I don't know how NDC will take that. No, Mettle, isn't it the good news for us? I mean, 300 million US dollars. They're in to support some projects that will be doing.
I still maintain my stance when it comes to these issues that no matter the amount of money he gives to Nana Addo Bawumia administration, okay, no matter the amount of money he gives to them, because of mismanagement, because of the way they've run the economy, they are still going to run it down and will have nothing to show. What monies have not come into the system? During COVID-19, that they claimed that it was a pandemic and the whole world was suffering and all that. Look at the monies that Ghana got from COVID-19, and we could not even build a single hospital out of those monies. Where did the COVID-19 monies go? We saw examples where one of their party faithfuls in the northern part of Ghana saying that they shared the money among themselves, and her share of the money she gave to a constituency chairman and blah, blah, blah. So clearly you could see that it's not about the fact that they've not gotten money. This MPP administration, if you care to know, from the history of Ghana, from Nkrumah through all the presidents and military regimes, okay, to John Dramani Mahama, our public debt that we've borrowed is 120 billion Ghana cedis. Only them, when they came, they've increased our public debt to over 600 billion Ghana cedis. Now I think it's hovering around 700 billion. The revenue that they got under John Dramani Mahama, we got 230 billion Ghana cedis. Under their regime, revenue alone, apart from the monies they've borrowed, they've gotten over 830 billion Ghana cedis. Not to talk about COVID-19 monies that came in. And then you just support that to the expenditure, then you check the balance of it. So clearly you could see that Nana Addo Bawumia administration is one of the luckiest regimes that have ever come. But in terms of what they've used the money for, there's nothing really to show. That is why I'm not surprised that even when an election is held in Ghana, from 1992, 1996, in 2000, in 2008, and in years that they've won presidential elections, when the election results are being counted from the regions, most of the time NDC wins like 8 regions, when it was 10. The region that saves them, which is the Ashanti region, the heartbeat of the NPP. Recently, the Roads and Highways Minister, Senso Boache, on national television, they couldn't mention projects that they've done. The Ashanti Regional Minister, Osei Mensa Bonsu, he couldn't mention projects they've done. And he was challenging the NDC that we should mention at least 10 projects that we've done in the Ashanti region. And they asked him to mention. He got to 5. And he kept nodding and said left and right, left and right, left and right. He couldn't mention. As I sit here, not a member of Ashanti region who do not live in Ashanti region, I can offhand mention some of the projects. You have the Kumasi Airport redevelopment. You have Kejita redevelopment, Phase 1, Kejita Market redevelopment, Atonsu Market redevelopment, Tafo Market redevelopment, Asawase Market redevelopment. I've mentioned 5. Offensive Day Senior High School, the biggest ultra-modern eye center in Ghana, which is a Akufo-Addo Teaching Hospital. $21.6 million Mampong, a water project over there. Parakoso Day Senior High School, and over and over. So I've mentioned just like 10 as I'm sitting here right now. And a regional minister in Ashanti region, you could not even mention them. So clearly I'm saying that this 300 million that has come, what I think is going to do is going to give an artificial cushioning to the exchange rates. You see that the cedi will be stabilized for some time. If not this money that has come, do you know that $1 to the cedi was about 13 Ghana cedi going? But this one has come, I think we'll cushion it a little. And we should also keep at the back of our mind that Ghana currently, we are not servicing our external debt. So that's why sometimes we see that the cedi has stabilized in a way. So whatever money will come, whatever money you give to this government, so far as Nana Addo Bawumia are still at the helm of affairs of Ghana, nothing good and beneficial is going to come out of it. The only way we can liberate ourselves, the only way we can save Ghana is to kick them out, to bring in prudent financial management of the economy, to bring in a leadership that we can trust, to bring a leadership that has the track record. We can see what John Dramani Mahama has done. I've just mentioned 10 projects in the Ashanti region. You come across Ghana, you come to the Maritime Hospital, Bank of Ghana Hospital, Ridge Hospital, you come to Dodowa Hospital, you come to Ga East Hospital, you look at the Kwame Kumah Circle interchange, you look at the Teshi Nungwa water desalination plant. If it's in operation, we'll not be having water shortages over here. You look at the digital center John Dramani Mahama built, day schools John Dramani Mahama built. So you can see that there's a track record. But of John Dramani Mahama, how you manage the economy, how you manage our finances, and what he did with the revenue, meager revenue that he got. At this time, he had only one oil well. Under their time, we gave them additional 2, so they had 3. They've gotten revenue more than anybody, but there's nothing to show. We cannot get any 300 million under this government that will use to do anything unless we kick them out and bring in new leadership.
Very well. Raphael.
MJ, you see, sometimes when you want to speak to emotions and not data, you always be wrong. As of June 2015, Ghana's debt to GDP was 22.7. As of 2016, Ghana's debt to GDP was 73.4. As we speak today, 2024, Ghana's debt to GDP is 71.1. Clearly, we are better off than they are. And for me, when it comes to economics, when you want to use nominal data to make your case in politics, you will always be wrong. So that is the basis. But going forward, MPP have done a lot of things. Let me give you some few examples. Procuracy interchange, MPP has done that. Obechebi interchange, MPP has done that. Tamale interchange, we have done that. Takrati PTC interchange, MPP has done that. Cape Coast Intercity Roads, we have done that. Hohoe just do the deep Pepesu Road, we have done that. Ajungano interchange, MPP, we have done that. Nungwa Barrier interchange, we have done that. Tema motorway flyover, MPP has done that. I mean, there are a lot of things that we can go on and go and go. In fact, even funding for free senior high school alone is enough. We are investing in the future of this.
How many of these roads have been completed?
I just wanted to ask him that.
So that is the point I'm making.
You've done that. Have they completed?
So the point is this. Let me even use
They mentioned including those that are in process.
He didn't mention in process. He said they've done that.
They've done that. Completed.
Nungwa, I'm from Nungwa. It's been done.
Has it been finished?
Has it been done?
Use Bole Bambo as an...
And even the plagiarized project that you are taking, that you can know what. Has it been done?
In Bole Bambo, for instance, we have a polyclinic there. Mama was leaving office, I think, in 2016. The only thing that was done for us was just the site, that they said they have allocated a site for us. There was no funds. MPP came, took over the project, got the funds, completed, and it is running. This is from Bole Bambo. So
there was a site?
Just only the site. There was no funds available.
Which was secured by who? The NDC?
Given to the NDC at the time by the chiefs of Bamboy. That was the only thing that was done on that land. So when you say that we have borrowed and we cannot account for it, you go to the banks or you go to seeking for funding. The funds come, projects are done. You claim ownership of the projects, but you don't want to claim ownership of the debt. You get my point? If you had raised funding for that project and you left office, it was in your name, granted that was in your name, and you had claimed that it is your project. But mind you, it's the same cost of the project that is added onto the current debt that we have. So you don't want to accept the cost, the debt you have now, but you want to claim ownership of the projects that you have done with the funding.
But when the project is completed, it makes for the debt that was incurred.
Exactly. So that is why
is the project
I'm saying
by
that
you who had that money.
So the case of Bamboy, fresh, the deal was never signed. Health Minister Ajimamanu came, he signed the deal, got the funding from one of these foreign banks, and it's completed.
So it doesn't become an issue of debt then?
So no. It's what they always say is that we've added more money, more debt than they left it for us. And I just gave you the figures. The figures
so
that
say
that.
The one that they left for you and you have added on.
What's
the difference?
The figures clearly says this. 2015, after June, debt to GDP was 72.7. 2016, it was 73.4. Currently, 2024, it is 71.1.
What was 2022?
Clearly, we've done far better than them in terms of the economy, in terms of all of these things that they're talking about. So MPP has done so much. Even, for instance, let's even push aside everything. Let's look at the investment we've made only in the education sector. The STEM schools, how many are they? The roads that we've done, what is the kilometers? So you can't just sit on TV and say that, they borrowed, you can't account for the funding. It's not done anywhere.
Okay.
Just yesterday or the day before yesterday, the smart school project, an innovative project by the Vice President. Digitalization is on course. These are evidence to what we are doing.
Very well.
You can just go and verify all of this. Online. This is not the green book system that we are dealing with. You can find this, there's evidence to it on the internet, on the media, wherever. You can find these things. But to say that we've left more debt, it's not true. The figures are very clear on this matter.
Lawyer, you have the last word, and then we'll do some 2 messages. In fact, we've run out of time. And so,
you see,
on the floor.
It's not a question of any party coming in and doing nothing. You could have done more with the money you got.
And that has always been your
yes, you could have done more. Yeah. A lot of things you could have done that you haven't done. And when you look at the situation of debt that has riddled this country, why? Are you saying there was no plan to what you put to what you wanted to do? It makes it challenging. It makes it difficult. I want to ask, this money that is coming, is it a loan or is it a grant?
No, it's supposed to be a loan.
The World Bank loan.
Yeah, for a facility support.
It's a loan.
Loan facility to support.
It's a loan. Yeah. We will pay for it down the road. We have now pushed, we have backloaded the debts into 2040. And we are taking more loans. It shouldn't be a situation where we say, hey, guys, we cannot go on with any projects because of the kind of debt this country has. Let's try and see how we pay some of these debts off before we now start looking at some of the projects we haven't finished. But we are going for more loans. Where's the money to pay those more loans? We are saddling our future children with loans of the past. How does the country come back to where it is? How? Where? And this is where I keep saying, debt is a national issue. And we should try and solve the debts on a national basis. Because one political party will not be in power forever. So as the debt is mounting, let's all come together and find out how we sort it. In your family, if you have a wife and you have children, or you have children, and you've gone for a bank loan and it's saddling you, don't you sit together and say, honey, this debt, there's certain things we need to cut to. If we need to sell one car, let's sell it. If we need to rent a room here, let's rent a room in the house so that we can cover this debt. Shouldn't that be the way we look at some of these things? But anyway, MPP are saying, and we did this, and we built roads, and we did this. What the Constitution said, there is perpetual secession in everything we do. A government comes in, they take over from what the previous government made, and you move forward. Isn't it all for the betterment of Ghana? It is when you then come in and you don't do what you're supposed to do, and you create a lot of debt for the country. That is where the problem is. Because the former finance minister, he was covering the naked city with loans. And it has come to bite us, hasn't it? I feel at this present moment, the fact that we are where we are today is good for us. Let's learn so that tomorrow we don't go back to it. I hope once we are able to get out of it, we're able to pay quite a substantial amount of our debts, we would look more at our domestic settings than always having to go out and borrow. Because there's no free lunch anywhere.
Oh no, as for that one, we'll definitely come back. We'll take everything. Good morning. This was an Amanote from Teshi. It says, God bless Mettle NUNOO. Let MPP guy know that Pokwase Abechebi interchanges wasn't funded by NPP. The guy is lying. KMJ, this government revoked the licenses of financial institutions with no tangible reasons, resulting in jobs losses, loss of investment, loss of lives, and destroyed our indigenous banks. Now, today, their technological know-how, they claim to have to convince people to invest in government bonds and other investments. How come we are experiencing this? Akufo-Addo and his people are cursed by the blood of the suffering Ghanaians. Karma. He says, Mr. Host, we don't know if the entire MPP communication team is invited to the studio. Look, Ghanaians will never forgive Adonado and his BMW's driver's mate. They better keep the stolen millions of dollars. Look, they can promise heaven Ghanaians will punish them come 7th of December. They should also keep on recruiting the over 50-year-old men and women. Alaji Hamza from Fifth Time says, good morning, my brother, and happy to see you back. Happy to see you also back here on the console, WhatsApp console. My brother, truth be told, I am sad and my heart bleeds for this nation. What at all is happening in this country? Not long ago, we were told that the president is building a cathedral in honor of God. So I expect Mr. President to walk the talk. God have mercy. I call on Ghanaians to come together and pray for this country. Building a cathedral based on lies and stealing in the name of God. Okay. Good morning. Please extend my greetings to my able comrade NUNOO Jr. for his well-articulated submission. Now, the God of Ghana is alive and he will not let the plans of the wicked prevail at all. The court has thrown out the case, so the next thing is the president must and will sign the bill by hook or crook. God is still an answering God. The will of God is in the will of Nana, a.k.a. Okay. I'm sure. Please, Mr. Host, the one in the middle, he's eating 24 hours. That is why he can divide all of you there. And Blue Man, if he thinks he's popular, he should go and contest for assembly. You should take it easy. Whatever arsenals which under the NDC's parliamentarians should be used in parliament to stop the approval of the government on means. We know and we are aware that John Kumah is dead and the number in parliament now is 137. Master Rahman Saula Tuna Calva sent in that. Okay, so this one over here says, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Napo is very rude and arrogant character, just like the president who said to people in Kumasi that he did not force them to vote for him. In the same way, he disrespected the people of Akumfi and voter region for the fact that they did not vote for NPP. That's why he refused them development projects. Remember, Asabi, as minister, and Akufo told citizens to go and eat kokonte and stop complaining about economic hardships. Arrogance of power and rudeness are the hallmark of the wild elephants. They can never change due to their upbringing. See Napo t-shirts in opposition. Okay. Good morning, Joy Prime. Thank you for your determination to respect the audience views as audience. Okay, that's a lot. Good morning. I wish they would stop discussing these LGBTQ issues and focus on pressing needs. The hospitals have been given a raw deal by government refusal to pay bills of the hospitals when they have no budgetary allocations, leading to lights out all over. Please follow up on the Smart School project and ensure this children's future is not crushed because some people's procurement gains. Water in Makasim sent in that. So earlier, I made mention about the issue of number one. So let me read this quickly. It's a men's gold case. State prosecutors closed case in NAM1 trial over 340 million Ghana Cedis customers funds, and it's on starfm.com. It says that state prosecutors have closed their case in the case in which Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, and Apia Mensa is standing trial for defrauding customers in the sum of about 350 million Ghana Cedis. This was after the lawyers of Nana Apia Mensa, also known as NAM1, concluded their cross-examination of ASP Charles Nyako, the investigator who was the 8th prosecution witness in the ongoing trial. Following the conclusion of counsel for the accused, state prosecutors led by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mrs. Yvonne Atakra Obiobisa, said, "This is our last witness and we close our case." On December 20, 2023, the trial officially began with Stephen Atopo, a civil engineer called by the prosecution as the first witness, and it follows in that.
Oh, okay.
On that. So you understand where it's coming from now. Yeah.
So it's not that the
No,
case
the entire, no.
But the prosecution, they have closed their...
So we'll have the next stage and then we'll see how...
You're getting?
I was getting worried about when I heard that. I was really worried.
They have ended their case, so now they're
getting worried about it.
But before I got to the studio, and I think I've gotten a lot of messages on that, you have a very top fan in Medina. She's called Priscilla Isel.
Priscilla Isel.
She saw you when you went to the Ifiaton, the Singathon.
The Singathon, yeah.
And then when she saw the flash, she was like, "Oh, KMJ, that's my
Oh, Charlie.
So I should extend her greetings to you. So if I don't do it, I'm there. So I have to tell you.
It's good. What's the name again?
Priscilla Isel.
Priscilla Isel. A very good morning to you, Priscilla, and thank you so much. I had so much, to do with that Singathon thing. I'm still battling with my voice, but it's okay. We had a lot of fun. Everybody that came there had a lot of fun, and that's the most important thing. Anyway, that's going to be all for today. Let me say thank you to all of you for coming through this morning. For me, really appreciate it. Lawyer says that he wants chocolates for my trip, so I'm going to, what I was thinking, I was going to give him something else until he brought the chocolate out.
But you didn't experience Doomsaw there. And the tap was flowing. You didn't even encounter potholes on the road?
America is
But
and the lights were on 24/7.
One funny thing, I was in the
But they all travel.
I was in the UK last
The ministers and the press, they all travel. They see
Also, they see it.
Yes, now.
I was able to use my Ghana card in the UK just last week to
Oh, yeah?
book a hotel at Hilton.
To book a hotel?
Hilton.
Oh, no, that Hilton, yes. That works. You can
It
use
was.
the
So
card.
Ghana card
So that
was
one,
UK.
that one.
It's just like your
I thought
passport.
you were going to say you're able to use it to travel. Because that's
Yeah, but it's still possible.
no. Like without
See.
Without his passport.
without a passport.
London Towers.
In London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You slept in the Hilton.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
but it's
No.
party power.
I do travel a lot.
It's party power.
That's a different trip.
I thought you said you use it
Doing
to
Hilton.
What I was talking about is the point that Ghana card is working. That's just
It's a
No, but you say you're going to-
Anyway, that'll be our conversation
Nice
this
doing
morning.
what-
Thanks for watching. We're not done yet. We're still bringing you what's trending. We've got our conversation on funeral rights in terms of, a woman that has lost her husband. Practically, what the woman goes through in terms of the rights that would ensure that the husband husband is, buried and what even follows after the burial. This is something we'll put together for you as we celebrate Ghana and everything that makes us proud Ghanaians. That's coming up over here on the show as well. Nathaniel Atto will be coming through with some latest updates in the world of sports as well. So yeah, we'll find out if some of the monies and testers and all of that, have been paid. Now, those in charge are saying that they didn't understand what they meant by volunteers. When you volunteer, you don't get paid for anything. So maybe they didn't understand, and it's not their fault. Anyway, we're going to get some updates on that here on the show. Please do stay.